So I watched the Barbie movie yesterday, and I have a lot of thoughts and opinions on it. First things first, I want to get it straight though, is I'm a man, white man, so I understand that this movie is for women and not necessarily just for me. So, that being said, I liked the movie, but I have mixed feelings about it. I have a like and dislike for it. First, I like the feminism wave of everything, spoiler alert, let me just say all that because I am talking about a Barbie movie review, so there is spoilers. But the movie was funny. I don't know if that's what they were going for, or I don't really know or if they even know what direction they were going for, because it went a lot of different directions. And I feel like there was also a lot of negative stuff that they put in there that they should not have done that. First of all, Barbie, I'm thinking it's a kid's movie or whatever, or at least a teenage movie, whatever. This movie should be rated PG-13 or R or something, because a lot of sexual stuff in there and a lot of stuff I don't really think kids should be seeing. Also, there kept being a repeated pregnancy joke in there about one of the dolls were pregnant, and they keep saying, "Oh, I thought we discontinued it," and just being weird. I was like, for a pro-feminine movie, it's really just weird to keep making fun of mom shaming a pregnant woman. That was weird to me. But also, there was a few vagina jokes in there, a few gay jokes and stuff, and I just felt like that was kind of a male wrote that or whatever. I just feel like that was catered to the men. And then in the beginning of the movie, it shows Barbie Land and everything, and women in charge, cool, like that, cool. And there's boundaries, and whatever the women say goes. Barbie says she doesn't want to be with Ken, and he listens. Okay, then for some reason they have to go into the real world because they for some reason thought it was nice to add in depression and existential crisis to kids, because again, this is a kids movie and it's for Barbies, and they're making the humans are doing shit to the dolls or whatever, and whatever's happening with the humans, it's happening to the dolls. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. So then we're getting extra existential crisis Barbies and stuff, and depression and anxiety Barbies and stuff. And I thought that was weird, but then I'm like, okay, let's roll with it. And then they go into the real world. Barbie and Ken go into the real world, and they find out about the patriarchy. One thing for me is, I don't like shows and movies that are too realism. I watch shows and movies to escape the real world, because if I want to just watch stuff about the real world, I could just go on TikTok and watch everybody talk about all the shit that's going on in the world. I want to forget a little bit about the problems. And I'm okay with a movie showing feminism and stuff like that, because I'm a feminist, and I would like that if they did that. But I feel like it didn't have an exact direction where it wanted to go, so I feel like it ended up not hitting the mark that it's supposed to hit, because I don't think there's good enough direction in the film. So I like Margot Robbie as Barbie. I like Ryan Gosling as Ken. I don't know why they made him the villain. I feel I guess to make a plot, but I mean at the same time, they could have just did anything else, because usually Ken is does listen to Barbie, and he's more nicer, and I feel like he's a douchebag in this. Obviously he's supposed to be, but I mean Ken's usually not like that. At least none of the stuff I've seen. He already was a villain in Toy Story 3. Why are we doing that again? But anyway, I digress. They go into the real world, they find out about patriarchy and everything, and then Ken gets into patriarchy, and then Ken brings patriarchy to the Barbie land, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. Why are we bringing the patriarchy? And then it's they're making jokes about it, and I'm like, okay. But all the Barbies get brainwashed and believing to the patriarchy like that. These Kens do a little bit of patriarchy, and then somehow it's all brainwashed, and it doesn't make sense to me why all these strong, powerful women, presidents and stuff, get brainwashed so easily. And then I'm like, okay. And then it's saying in order to get unbrainwashed Barbie, they talk about feminist stuff and ideals, and then they get unbrainwashed, and then they turn the men against each other by basically being all like skimpy and trying to get them to like hate each other and stuff, and it works. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, all right, cool, we're going back to how it should be, you know, like the Barbie's in charge and everything. I think the Barbies should be in charge. I think it should be all Barbies, like how it was in the beginning. But then, you know, stuff happens, and Barbie, who also, she keeps calling herself stereotypical Barbie, and I get it. It's like a white woman being Barbie and everything, but you chose the white woman to be Barbie, so it's like, why do we have to keep making the joke so stereotypical Barbie? She could just be Barbie. But anyway, they keep making that throughout the whole movie, calling her stereotypical Barbie. And then at the end, Barbie ends up choosing to be in the real world with the patriarchy. It's like, why would any woman want to be in the patriarchy? That's so weird. Such a weird message to send to little girls. Like, yeah, be okay with it. I was personally okay if the Barbies were in charge of Barbie Land and the men just went back to doing... I felt like it was a good world. I felt like it was a beautiful world. It was a way better world, obviously, than our world and everything. Why give men these, like, oh, Barbie feels bad because Ken started crying and said, how does it feel that you made boundaries and now I'm making boundaries? Like, except the difference is Barbie was making boundaries just to make boundaries. She didn't, like, make boundaries to piss off Ken. That's just how she was. She doesn't like Ken. Ken likes Barbies, and he's mad Barbie didn't reciprocate, so he gets mad and make boundaries or whatever. And it's fucked up. I'm like, okay, that's messed up. He's doing it to get back at her, to get even. She just did it just because. And at the end, they're like, oh, let's make Barbie fall in love with Ken. And she's like, no, I don't like Ken. So, yeah, I mean, that's cool. I'm for that. But and that goes right to the feminist direction. But then it takes a leap back when she chooses to go into patriarchy. It doesn't make any sense. Why would she want to go to patriarchy? She wants to live in the real world and everything. It's like... And then at the end of the movie, she's like, she's going to a gynecologist. It's like, huh? Okay. That's really a weird way to end it. Did not think it would end that way. Didn't think it would be as funny as it was, and it was. I'm glad it was funny, but it also was harmful in a lot of ways, and also weird. Like, they didn't know which direction it was going, because I think even Alan would have been okay if Barbie World was the same as how it was. Also, one minor thing I don't like that they didn't play the original Aqua Barbie Girl song throughout the whole thing. Of course, they used the Nicki Minaj and Ice Spice remix version at the end, but I like the original Aqua Barbie Girl song. Like, why they should have put that in there at least once, the original. But anyway, that's not that big of a deal. But I'm just saying, like, you know, I just feel like it was a hit and miss through a lot of ways. I felt like I had higher expectations for it and it didn't meet them. And I'm glad they put the feminism stuff and the mom stuff at the end. Can't we just have plain normal Barbie or whatever? Or there's nothing crazy about her or whatever. I like that. And I like how the mom was like talking about feminism and stuff. And like stuff that we don't really hear about in movies. I enjoyed that part. But I feel like there was a lot of step backs with the whole patriarchy stuff. And Barbie choosing the patriarchy over this perfect Barbie world and everything. I just think that was the wrong message. And yeah. That's just how I felt about the Barbie movie. So, yeah.